Hey, North Shore Pump, are you wondering what's happening in our hyper-local housing market? We're gonna break that down today in your October 2024 local housing market update. What is going on, party peeps? My name is Chris Elliott. I am a local realtor here in Metro Richmond, as well as a Windham resident. And in this video today, I wanna give you our hyper-local housing market. So this is gonna be specifically for North Shore Pump. So think Shore Pump north of Broad. These are gonna be neighborhoods for all my friends in Windham, Twin Hickory, Gray Oaks, Cross Creek, Windham Forest, Bacova, as well as all the other smaller communities in the area. We're gonna have some fun. So we're gonna do the top 3 sales from the month of September. We're gonna do stats from our local housing market. We're gonna do headlines from the national housing market. And then I'm gonna give you 3 tips, if you stay to the end, 3 tips that we're currently giving to our would-be seller clients, as well as 3 tips we're giving to our would-be buyer clients. All right, so coming in at number 3, we've got 5613 Hunters Glen Drive in Millstone. This property sold for $1,081,000 after factoring concessions. This property sold for $69,000 under the asking price, 6 bedrooms, 5 baths, 5160 1 square feet. The property was a little dated cosmetically, but certainly a ton of space, and I certainly love that morning room. So that was number 3. Number 2, 10813 Cherry Hill Drive in the Cherry Hill subdivision of Windham. This property was sold for $1,100,000, which was the exact asking price, which is pretty fun. 4 bedrooms, 5 baths, 4,254 square feet. Not the biggest house in the world. 4,000 square feet is certainly a decent size, but it was on the 5th hole of the Dominion Club overlooking the green. And having played the Dominion Club course multiple times, I can tell you it's in a very good spot, very safe from golf balls. You've got to be a terrible golfer to hit that house. So very nice to be able to sit out on that back and or just hang out in the fence backyard, overlook that green. This was a Mike DuPont custom built home. Yeah, backyard views were gorgeous. Great house. Very lucky buyer. And coming in at number 1, also in Windham, 12301 Windham West Drive in Ellington, which is obviously the new section, maybe not so obvious. It's a new section of Windham. This property sold for $1,133,500 after accounting for concessions. 5 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, 4119 square feet. This property was built in 2022, so very new home, a custom built home. Obviously everything's fresh. It's 2 years old. And I would say decent backyard for Ellington, which tends to be smaller lots. This one from the photos looks like it had a decent amount of privacy, fenced backyard, 0.29 acres, which is not the biggest lot in the world, but for Ellington, it's a good size. All right, so we had some fun giving you the top 3 sales. Now let's talk about some hyper-local or some stats from our hyper-local market. So the median sales price this past month in September was $807,000, which was up 17.6% year over year. So I will say that again, we were up 17.6% year over year. For my friends that maybe didn't pay as much attention in stats class, that means that the median home price is up 17.6% from September 2023 to September 2024. That is astronomical when you factor that the average kind of national 50-year average on home price appreciation is about 4% per year. So we are still seeing an asinine amount of appreciation in our area. The median days on market was 16 days, which is up 166.7% year over year, which sounds like a very dramatic statistic, but to put that into context, we went from 6 days on market, from the time a property hits the market to the time it goes under contract, to 16 days this past September. Median percentage of sales price versus list price, basically how much of their list price did sellers get, was 99.3%, which was actually down 3.6% year over year. So that number is trending downward. In the grand scheme of things, 99.3% is still pretty good, but we are trending downward. Last but not least, our month supply of inventory this past month was 1.4 months. Month supply of inventory is a very fancy metric that basically tracks the relationship between seller supply and buyer demand. And all you need to know is anything under 6 months supply of inventory is technically considered a seller's market. So 1.4 months supply of inventory is a red hot seller's market, despite what you might be hearing on the news networks or about national housing news. Our local area is still in a red hot seller's market. All right, so let's give you a couple headlines from our national housing news. The fine folks at Fannie Mae Mortgage Bankers Association, as well as Wells Fargo, all are predicting that mortgage rates are going to continue to drop, and they collectively believe rates will be in the high fives by Q2 of 2025. With decreasing rates, we do anticipate that more sellers as well as more buyers are going to be entering into the housing market next year. A recent bank rate study showed that 35% of surveyed homeowners said that they would sell their home if rates got under 6%. 52% of would-be buyers surveyed said that they would buy if rates got under 6%. I can tell you anecdotally, just in having dozens and dozens of conversations with would-be sellers and buyers, there is a lot of pent-up demand, call it constipated demand, in the housing market right now. Folks that really want to move, but really don't want to give up their interest rate or feel like they would be making a foolish decision by giving up their current COVID interest rate. But I can tell you, when rates get in the fives, personal prediction, we are going to see a lot of activity in the housing market. And given the drop in interest rates and the expected increase in activity, experts are predicting that we will see moderate home price appreciation in 2025, with the average of all 10 major forecasters predicting 2.6% home price appreciation. Now, I will tell you, personal prediction, in our local area, we will see between 5 and 10% home price appreciation. Let me break that down for you. So in Metro Richmond, we are currently at 8% year-over-year price appreciation. So Richmond as a metro, as a whole, Central Virginia, whatever you want to call it, we are outpacing current national averages, and our area specifically is outpacing, the greater Metro Richmond area. So personal prediction, calling my shot here, I think we're going to see anywhere between 5 and 10% price appreciation in North Shore Plump in 2025. All right, so last but not least, thank you for hanging in there. I'm going to give you 3 tips that we're giving to our would-be sellers or our current sellers, as well as 3 tips that we're giving to our would-be buyers right now. All right, first and foremost, experts are not predicting that the housing market is going to crash if your presidential candidate doesn't get into office. And you might say, hey, Chris, how do you know who I'm going to vote for? And I would tell you that it does not matter, because all the smarty pants people that work at the Mortgage Bankers Association, Home Price Expectation Survey, all of the really fancy real estate economists, none of them are predicting a housing market crash if either presidential candidate wins the election. So historically, what we know about presidential elections, despite conventional wisdoms, despite what people think, it does not have a large effect on the housing market in the immediate. Yes, you can make the argument that policy changes housing over time, but in the immediate, historically, presidential elections have not affected the housing market in a great way the year following a election. Secondly, if you are currently on the market and your home is not selling, I've got a hard truth for you. It's not the market, it's not the election, it's not the time of year, it's not the mortgage rates. I've already showed you in the stats that we are in a red hot seller's market. So if your home is currently on the market, if you've been on the market and you're not selling, either you've got the wrong agent representing you, something about the property needs to change, the condition specifically, or it might be the price. It could be a combination of all 3 or some of those 3, but one of those 3 things, if not all of those 3 things, needs to change. It's not the current market landscape that is preventing your home from selling. And then last but not least, if you are planning a sale in 2025, I would recommend to you to start prepping now. What does that look like? Have a conversation with a real estate professional, get a game plan for what you need to do, what your home can realistically sell for, what, if anything, is recommended to get your home ready for market, or things that you could do to boost the value. If you not have a real estate professional in mind, I would love the opportunity to earn your business. Contact me via the links below, or shoot me a DM, or find me somehow. We're easy to find, but have that conversation now, just so you're not starting flat-footed in January, hoping to be on the market in February. That's going to create a lot of stress in your world. All right, for my buyers, I'll say it again. Experts are not predicting a housing market crash if your candidate does not win the presidential election. So whether you think that everything's going to hell in a handbasket if the wrong candidate gets in, or if you're thinking opportunistically that, hey, if the wrong candidate gets in, home prices are going to crash, you may be right, but all of the major real estate forecasters think you're wrong. So I'm not going to weigh in an opinion, but I'll tell you, all the smarty pants people that track this day in, day out, that's their full-time job, don't anticipate a huge swing either way, no matter which candidate wins. Secondly, you cannot renegotiate the sales price. So we've already kind of talked about it, or maybe we've alluded to it. We anticipate that prices are going to appreciate as mortgage rates come down, as well as more buyers entering into the marketplace. So the cool thing about real estate is you can always refinance to a lower rate at some point in the future, provided that rates drop, thus lowering your mortgage payment. What you're not able to do is to go back and renegotiate the sales price with the seller that you bought the home from. So, and this kind of pulls into point number 3 is our savvy buyers are buying now. So provided you can find a home that works for you and your family, that works within your budget, our savviest clients are buying those homes now, knowing that home prices are going to continue to appreciate, especially going into 2025. And as rates continue to drop, they're going to have the opportunity to refinance those mortgages at some point in the future, bringing their mortgage payment down versus waiting with everybody and their mother for rates to come down and then jumping into a more competitive market in 2025, where yes, rates are going to be lower, but prices are going to be higher. So hopefully that made sense. If you have any questions, concerns, you disagree with me, throw it in the comments, shoot me a DM. If we can earn your business, contact me via the links below. Thanks for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you next month.